As the atmosphere in the arena grew tense, many figures subtly stepped back, as if waiting to watch the unfolding drama. The ground in the center quietly sank, as though some powerful presence was descending. Moon pattern markings gently floated down onto the ground, and the faint glimmer of moonlight sent a chill through the crowd. A bone-deep cold spread from the air, creeping into the spectators' bodies. "Senior sister, this person is bullying me." Yuqi's little eyes blinked rapidly as she gazed at the lifeline that emerged with the moonlight. Without hesitation, the little one darted toward the woman cloaked in moonlight, her figure covered by a silver robe. She clung to the woman's side, adopting a pitiful, coquettish posture. Poof! The woman in the moon robe had just appeared, and without saying a word, she casually raised her hand. A crescent-shaped arc of light shot out, effortlessly knocking the mocking auctioneer to the ground. The whole event happened in the blink of an eye. The auctioneer didn't even have time to react before he found himself sprawled on the ground, thoroughly embarrassed. You dare strike me? Do you know who I am? You're making a move in the midst of the alchemy conference. I will make sure you regret this." Red brand-like marks appeared on the auctioneer's face as he angrily shouted. "Senior, everything must follow the proper order." The woman in the silver robe gently shielded Yuqi with her hand and spoke in a reprimanding tone, not once glancing at the auctioneer again. "Who exactly is this person?" The auctioneer is a guest elder of a powerful sect, a top-tier 7th-grade alchemist. That sect even has 3 powerful reincarnation stage experts overseeing it. These 2 women might have just gotten themselves into unnecessary trouble. The onlookers whispered among themselves, but they consciously ignored Xiao and the others. "Is this person from the Moon God Palace?" Xun'er and Xiao exchanged a glance. Both of them sensed an extremely dangerous aura emanating from the woman in the moon robe. Indeed, I was careless. This pill shall be my apology." The elder, clearly no ordinary person, immediately saw through the auctioneer's background and began to act politely. Wearing a moon robe and bearing moon-like markings, she was undoubtedly from the Moon God Palace, the only place in the immortal realm known for such attire. "Let's go. Don't run off recklessly next time. If anything happens, I won't let you off easily. I might even have to go back and give you a good beating." The silver-robed woman's face, faintly covered by a veil, revealed a hint of indulgence, though her face remained largely hidden behind the thin fabric, making it difficult for the crowd to see her true features. "Big brother, thank you. This is our sect's senior sister. She's really strong," Yuqi said quietly after running to Xiao side. "Oh." Hearing Yuqi's words, Xiao couldn't help but take another look. The figure before him bore a resemblance to someone he had seen before, back at the heavenly pool in the Jade Pool Wonderland. Yuqi was of noble status, and with her mysterious powers, even Xiao could only shake his head. She was undoubtedly a core disciple of the Moon God Palace, and the senior sister before them was likely the strongest among the Moon God Palace's disciples. The strongest disciple of the Moon God Palace must have strength and prestige on par with the Jade Pool Fairy. "Oh, this young lady seems a bit unfamiliar." After Yuqi's little tantrum, the woman in the silver robe subtly approached Xiao and Xun'er. As she neared, her gaze instinctively shifted toward Xun'er, and a hint of hostility flickered in her eyes. "Gu Xun'er." Xun'er's dark eyes narrowed slightly. Although she was puzzled, she spoke in a calm and graceful manner. "Moon God Palace." Their hands subtly touched, but it was clear to anyone watching that there was a faint undercurrent of resentment between them. "We'll meet again next time." As their hands slowly parted, the silver-robed woman cast a resentful glance at Xiao then pulled Yuqi away, vanishing into the crowd. "She's really an odd one." Xun'er shook her head slightly, then glanced curiously at her own hand. That brief touch seemed to carry more than just simple contact. It felt like there was a hint of envy hidden within. "Since there's nothing of interest here, let's not waste any more time. Xiao let's go." Xun'er spoke, beginning to move toward the exit. "Wait." Just as Xun'er finished speaking, Xiao scanned the surroundings and spotted something precious at a nearby stall. It was a display wrapped in pale yellow parchment. Among the numerous items on the stall, one thing stood out, a seemingly insignificant green leaf. Xiao Yan casually scanned the surroundings, then spoke with a tone filled with disdain. A Saint-class 8th grade pill, and you're ignoring its earth and heavenly mystical levels? The elderly man, whose eyes had been closed, slightly stirred, letting out a startled sound. What? You're asking for a Saint-class 8th grade pill for this broken piece of junk? Old sir, are you trying to deceive me? Xiao Yan's eyelids twitched slightly as he gave a forced, mocking smile, locking eyes with the old man. Anyone who could set up a stall here was a meticulous, shrewd character. Once they sensed any interest in a particular item, they would raise its value without hesitation. So, when shopping in a market like this, one had to be exceptionally sharp. A Saint-class 8th grade pill isn't expensive. After all, little brother, you should be aware of the value of what's contained in these leaves, right? The elderly man slowly opened his eyes, and a faint, invisible aura caused Xiao Yan's soul to stir slightly. This guy is definitely no simple character. Valuable? To me, this thing, aside from having a faint soul aura, serves no other purpose. I was only interested because it seemed small and delicate. Xiao Yan shook his head, a hint of regret in his voice. Since you're not selling it, I won't press you. Xun'er, let's go. With that, Xiao Yan turned gracefully, taking Xun'er by the hand, and headed toward the end of the night market, moving with swift and elegant steps. Damn! The elderly man's eyes narrowed slightly as he clenched his fists, watching Xiao Yan's retreating figure grow more distant. His stall was full of real treasures, but even though he had spent countless efforts, he still couldn't uncover their mysteries. Now, all he could do was trade these precious items for something practical. Kid, come back? A 7th grade pill, that's the best concession I can make. After all, this item was extremely hard for me to find. If I could have unraveled its secrets, I would never have put it up for auction. The elderly man spoke calmly, calling out to Xiao Yan. Too expensive. Xiao Yan didn't even look back, continuing to stride forward with large steps, soon to leave this place entirely. This guy. Hearing Xiao Yan's nonchalant tone, the elderly man's chest swelled with inexplicable anger. 3 6th grade pills. Just as Xiao Yan's figure was about to be swallowed by the crowd, a low, somewhat angry growl echoed in his heart. In that case, thank you, old sir. Having already disappeared into the crowd, Xiao Yan reappeared in front of the stall with ghostly speed. After a simple transaction, the deal was done. How unlucky. This thing was a treasure I secretly stole from the heart of the immortal realm. If not for my inability to uncover its mysteries, how could it have ended up like this? A faint voice sounded, and the area returned to calm. The shopping district was still lively, with lanterns lighting up the night, but after purchasing what they needed, Xiao Yan and Xun'er conducted one last scan to avoid attracting the attention of any suspicious individuals. Xiao Yan, what is this thing? On their way back to their resting place, Xun'er, noticing Xiao Yan's solemn expression, couldn't help but ask. For Xiao Yan, at the second-tier reincarnation stage, to have such a serious expression, it was clear that this small leaf must have an extraordinary origin and power. This thing looks no different from an ordinary leaf, the only difference being that it carries a faint trace of soul power. However, my spirit palace has been releasing a strong, almost urgent energy, but I can't quite explain it. From what I can sense, it seems related to soul power. Only once they had returned to their residence and sealed it off with soul energy did Xiao Yan place the leaf-like object in the air. The two of them observed it carefully, one ahead of the other. It seems no different. Xiao Yan and Xun'er exchanged glances, but found nothing unusual. Soul power. Xiao Yan nodded, activating his soul energy. An invisible wave of soul force spread out, bringing an indescribable sense of satisfaction to both his body and mind. Whoosh whoosh. As Xiao Yan's soul power spread, the quiet leaf suddenly fluttered in the wind, as if it had gained sentience. Thump, thump. Watching the scene unfold, Xiao Yan's heartbeat grew increasingly intense, and even his spirit palace released a terrifying wave of energy. This is... From the leaf, drops of eerie liquid, like agate, slowly dripped down. Xiao Yin felt the pressure surge through him, and instantly, the soul power within his 7-layer spirit palace was thrown into turmoil. As for Xun'er, the divine artifact bracelet was immediately activated, and with the golden crow protecting her, the pressure was greatly reduced. What is this? Looking at the strange liquid beside the leaf, Xiao Yin spoke cautiously, as his vision caused a sharp wave of dizziness to hit him. This is the soul divine source. The 5-legged golden crow, protecting Xun'er, spoke with surprise, clearly recognizing this thing. Soul divine source? Xiao Yin and Xun'er both exclaimed at the same time. These new terms were clearly shaking their hearts. Even a powerhouse like Xiao Yin, who was at the half-step divine wanderer stage, felt a chill run through his heart. What exactly was this soul divine source? After stepping into the immortal realm, the soul power will form the spirit palace. The next stages, such as the grand void and essence transformation, represent further increases in soul power. As for divine wanderer, that is a level on the path to the peak of reincarnation. Once soul power enters the divine wanderer stage, it undergoes a strange transformation, a true qualitative change. And the soul divine source is the best symbol of the divine wanderer stage. The 5-legged golden crow spoke enviously, flying past Xun'er's shoulder and around the leaf, counting the number of liquid drops forming around it. Soul divine source. Xiao Yin smiled slightly. Clearly, this could only be absorbed and generated by those who have truly entered the divine wanderer stage. He himself was still some distance away. 10 drops. There are actually 10 drops. In the next moment, the 5-legged golden crow let out a roar, flapping its wings in excitement and clearly unable to hide its surprise and joy. 10 drops of soul divine source. This could be enough for me to truly enter the divine wanderer stage. Saying this, Xiao Yin couldn't help but feel elated. If he could reach the divine wanderer stage before the second round of the alchemy conference, this would almost guarantee his success. Wait, don't celebrate too early. These 10 drops of soul divine source seem a bit unusual. Normally, soul divine source contains a massive amount of soul origin. For ordinary people, it can extend life. For soul cultivators, it can improve their soul realm. But these here are too weak. After a moment of joy, the 5-legged golden crow began shaking its head. The golden flames around it started to wrap around the 10 gem-like liquid drops, probing them carefully. It seems this isn't meant to enhance soul power. Instead, it looks more like something designed to record something. Xun'er shook her head. The 10 drops of soul divine source had considerable pressure, but there was no pure power inside. Instead, there was only a faint green glow surrounding it. The reincarnation seal spread out, and with the help of the 5-legged golden crow, Xun'er also sensed the secret within. Xiao Yin, try using your spirit palace to absorb these 10 drops of soul divine source. After a moment, Xun'er suddenly spoke, her mind clicking. Spirit palace. Boom. Xiao Yin closed his eyes, channeling the near 7 layers of his spirit palace to launch a powerful attack on the 10 drops of soul divine source. Invisible soul power surged forth, and with the vast soul power of the 7 layers, it formed 7 overlapping soul mountains, easily pressing down on the 10 drops of liquid. Poof! As the 7 soul mountains spread, the green leaf quietly turned to dust. However, when the soul power met the liquid, the 10 drops of soul divine source shimmered brilliantly, and a beam of light shot through the entire soul barrier. This is a soul do skill? These soul divine sources are actually used to record the cultivation methods of soul do skills. Feeling the 10 drops of soul divine source slowly disperse across his soul mountains, Xiao Yin was filled with a sense of confusion and excitement. Soul do skills were exactly what Xiao Yin lacked most at the moment, and he had a vague feeling that the do skills recorded in these 10 drops, both in terms of power and rank, were probably of an extraordinary caliber. This was truly a great find. Vroom vroom. Within the entire soul barrier, soul power spread like a tide, and the 10 drops of soul divine source completely merged. They transformed into 2 ancient, ethereal scrolls that appeared on Xiao Yan's body. The scrolls unfurled, and a force so powerful that even Xiao Yan's god-slaying ruler felt uneasy emanated from them. The scrolls began to perform complex and profound movements. It was as if they were demonstrating the Do skill techniques using Xiao Yan's soul power. 2 soul Do skills. This guy has really struck it rich this time, but unfortunately, these soul divine sources aren't complete. They can only record soul Do skills. If there were a complete soul divine source, upon reaching the divine wanderer stage, his power would become even more terrifying. The 5-legged golden crow spoke indifferently, watching the illusory figures in the soul mountains as they demonstrated the soul Do skill techniques. Strange. Why does the ethereal figure demonstrating the soul Do skill seem to emit an aura that makes my reincarnation seal uneasy? Xun'er could only shake her head. The 3 of them were waiting together in the soul barrier for Xiao Yan's exit. However, for the 9 Xian Fire Lord's reincarnation seal to feel this uneasy, it was likely that only the strongest beings in the center of the immortal realm's upper 3 heavens could cause such a reaction. 10 days of rest quietly passed. During this time, Xiao Yan made significant progress in exploring and refining the 2 soul Do skills hidden within the mysterious Li fragment. The 2 scrolls of soul Do skills were mysterious and enigmatic, seemingly holding complex powers. Even Xiao Yan could only scratch the surface of their secrets. To fully master them, he would need considerable time. One of the skills was a soul attack Do skill ranked at the sacred level, while the other was more defensive, designed to protect against enemy soul attacks. With one focused on offense and the other on defense, they helped fill the last gaps in Xiao Yan's abilities. As for the strange figure, Su Yuan, whom Xiao Yan had taken in, after some questioning, Xiao Yan neglected to gather any useful information. In the end, Su Yuan self-destructed, which was truly unfortunate. The matter of the dark curse and other issues had to be delayed. For now, the priority was the alchemy conference. "Let's go," Xiao Yan said. "Today marks the 2nd round of the alchemy conference, and the competition is likely to be intense." Within the residence, Xiao Yan stood up and, with Xun'er, headed toward the top of 10,000 Spirits Mountain to participate in the 2nd round of assessments. As for Little E and the others, there seemed to be no news of them yet. "It seems there will be a good show today," Xun'er remarked. Only those with exceptional talents could have made it past the 1st round and into the 2nd round of the assessment. Powerful figures, like those from the Floral God Palace and the Briar Demon Children of the Demon Realm, when they face off, both their combat prowess and alchemy skills will be quite impressive. I wonder which of these geniuses will eventually be recruited by someone. "And how exactly will the 2nd round be judged?" someone in the crowd asked. The square remained quiet, yet countless spectators had gathered in the air around them. Clearly, none of them were discouraged by the 1st round's test, and the number of onlookers would likely increase for the 2nd round and the eventual 3rd round, which was expected to be the deciding one. Soul power subtly spread as Xiao Yan, holding Xun'er's hand, walked onto the square. Their confident smiles, coupled with Xun'er's elegant form, made the pairing of a handsome young man and a beautiful woman the object of envy for many. "Welcome, alchemists, to the 2nd round of this competition," Elder Yao Wuchen said as he appeared once more in the square. As we all know, the basic skills of an alchemist include identifying herbs, controlling fire, and manipulating soul power. The 2nd round of the alchemy conference will focus on one of the sacred grounds within the alchemy holy hall, the Ashfire Realm. Upon hearing Elder Yao's words, many spectators in the crowd gasped in surprise and admiration. "The Ashfire Realm," someone muttered. "Could it be the Alchemy Holy Hall is really willing to part with such a place?" Xiao Yan, having absorbed and understood 2 soul Do skills, knew little about the Alchemy Holy Hall. He turned to ask Xun'er, "What is the Ashfire Realm?" "The Ashfire Realm is one of the sacred grounds of the Alchemy Holy Hall," Xun'er explained. As the largest alchemist faction in the immortal realm, the Alchemy Holy Hall possesses countless sacred grounds. These places are filled with treasures and opportunities, making them the dream of every alchemist. The Ashfire Realm is said to contain a drop of soul divine source. There are many other priceless treasures as well. Countless alchemists spend their whole lives striving to break through to the spirit-wandering realm. This illustrates just how precious a single drop of soul divine source is. Before Xun'er could say more, a graceful figure appeared, walking towards them with an exceptionally pleasant voice. Hua Qianqian. Xun'er was surprised and glanced at Xiao Yin. Soul Divine Source? Xiao Yin chuckled helplessly, his eyes gleaming with fiery determination. The 10 drops of Soul Divine Source in the mysterious leaf fragment were not absorbable because they were meant to record Soul Do skills. However, if Xiao Yin could obtain even 1 drop, entering the Spirit Wandering Realm would be no problem. Once he entered the Spirit Wandering Realm, Xiao Yin would have the strength and foundation to challenge the peak of the Great Thousand Worlds. The Ashfire Realm is extremely dilapidated, and due to the passage of time and certain rules, you cannot remain there for long. For this assessment, you will have 1 month, Elder Yao continued. A month is more than enough. You won't need to gather herbs or anything. Your task is simply to leave the Ashfire Realm. Once you do, you'll have passed the assessment. Those who fail will be eliminated, with no chance to advance to the final round. The Ashfire Realm is more like a soul labyrinth, a land of opportunities. However, it is only for alchemists. You will have to discover the other treasures and secrets for yourselves. A high-level alchemist must possess sharp judgment and insight. This is a very mysterious ancient land. In the end, Yao Wuchen unexpectedly smirked, as if there was a hidden meaning behind his words. Rip. After clarifying some matters regarding the second round, Yao Wuchen raised his calloused palm, waving it casually. The air in the square began to distort, and suddenly, an endless abyss appeared in the void. The entrance to the abyss was deep and dark, with a wave of extreme heat emanating from it, causing many high-level alchemists present to feel disoriented. Some of your actions during the competition will be shown to the onlookers through the time and space crystals. In an alchemist competition, life and death are not considered, so you all need to think carefully. If you're ready, then let's begin. As soon as Yao Wuchen finished speaking, the entire world erupted into noise. Let's go. Move. The hundreds of alchemists in the square fell silent for a moment. Then, without a word, they soared into the air and flew toward the Ashfire Realm. The second round in the Ashfire Realm. This was sure to be a true test. Whether it was the alchemist's own strength or other powers, it was undoubtedly a comprehensive examination. You don't seem to be in any rush. Seeing everyone start to move, Hua Qianqian walked over from a distance. Aren't you the same? Xiao Yin glanced indifferently at Hua Qianqian and the Briar Demon Child, then smiled. You're an interesting one. I hope we can have a good match in the Ashfire Realm. After their conversation, they slowly moved toward the entrance. This fluctuation. As the conversation ended, Xiao Yan's gaze flickered. He saw several men in the crowd with dark expressions, looking at him with an eerie intensity. Xiao Yan, let's settle this in the Ashfire Realm. The figures of these men spoke, and then they simultaneously rushed into the Ashfire Realm. Those guys' power doesn't feel right. Why hasn't someone as powerful as Yao Wuchen noticed? Seems like those guys have been hiding for a long time. Are they finally starting to make a move? Xiao Yan muttered to himself, nodding. At the same time, the divine artifact and sacred flame in his body surged, indicating that the Ashfire Realm would not be simple this time. Elder Yao, it seems the strong ones at the center of the immortal realm have lost contact. Please trouble Elder Qingfeng to check on them. After all, the third round of the test requires the strong ones from the center of the immortal realm to maintain the energy fluctuations of the realm. Understood. As soon as the words were spoken, the entire square became lively. Countless figures stood silently in the void, all eyes fixed on the time and space crystals. Who would emerge victorious in this Ashfire Realm challenge? Boom! One by one, the alchemists poured into the abyss, heading toward the Ashfire Realm. Yet before they could fully step into the mysterious domain, a wave of ancient, desolate energy began to slowly drift out, making many people immediately on guard. Even the proud alchemists felt a sudden sense of unease from the ancient, desolate aura. Ancient objects were extremely alluring to them. If they could obtain any of these treasures, their advancements as high-level alchemists would be immense. However, there was no doubt that the dangers within were beyond imagination. This Ashfire Realm is actually an ancient world. It's truly surprising, but I wonder if we'll be able to find any ancient relics. In the dark abyss, Xiao squinted as he observed the approaching realm. His heart began to race involuntarily. The power of ancient relics was mysterious and unpredictable, and their strength, having lasted from ancient times, was naturally undeniable. Collecting them could serve as a powerful trump card, especially when dealing with the extraterritorial evil clan. Moments later, the Ashfire Realm finally came into view. A faintly fiery, sinister aura flickered in the world, and the intentions behind those gazes were obvious. Looking around, the realm appeared as a vast, triangular molten world, with no complete landmasses. Instead, there were strange areas resembling volcanic basins, with volcanic mountains of all shapes and sizes rising one after another. Even ashes from pure flames floated gently in the air, carrying a dangerously ominous vibe. The Ashfire Realm was devoid of life or any trace of greenery. Only a desolate silence accompanied by energy fluctuations settled on the edge of a volcanic basin. The first to enter was Xiao, stepping into this world alone. This place was full of mysteries. Once Xiao entered, he was surprised to find that the terrifying soul power from his half-step divine wanderer state seemed to be sealed and suppressed by some force. No matter how hard he tried to resist, he could not summon it. Clearly, the second round of the challenge was not as simple as everyone had imagined. The Ashfire Realm is definitely not as simple as it seems. It seals our soul power, and yet there is a drop of soul divine source here. Xiao scanned his surroundings and found that this Ashfire Realm was vast, with no sign of any living being in sight. Instead, what caught his attention were the numerous volcanic craters of varying heights and the dangerous ash-filled dust that loomed in the air. Shoo! As Xiao pondered how to locate the soul divine source and find a way out of this world to secure victory in the second trial, a sensation akin to dust particles falling onto his skin suddenly caught his attention. A searing pain surged from his skin, causing his face to twist in agony and cold sweat to pour from his body. The sealing of the alchemist's soul power leaves us as powerless as humans without the sense of smell. And these ashes and volcanoes in the Ashfire Realm are likely linked in some way. We cannot afford to underestimate them. Xiao frowned as he gazed into the distance. Without the invasion of soul power, he couldn't detect the soul divine source or the exit just by relying on his intuition and vision alone. Let me look around first. But the energy here is extremely violent. Prolonged exposure might lead me down the wrong path. I hope I don't encounter some terrifying ancient being and those mysterious figures with unknown identities before I left. After a brief moment of contemplation, Xiao shook off his many distractions and began walking across the heated ground, stepping on the distorted magma rocks. Sizzle! Just a few steps in, flames of fiery red suddenly appeared on the ground. These flames were mysterious, giving Xiao an overwhelmingly confused feeling. As he watched, the flames quietly distorted the space around them, and in an instant, a fiery red energy creature materialized from the void. At the same time, from the twisted space, it shot out with a terrifying destructive power, aiming to chase Xiao down. Rip! Xiao was startled. Yuli-colored flames immediately surged and formed a dazzling fiery armor around his body, blocking the attack from the mysterious creature. However, even with Xiao sacred flame armor, the spot where the creature attacked emitted a muffled grunt, with waves of pressure rippling through his fiery armor. A mysterious creature formed from the violent energies of the Ashfire Realm? After a few exchanges, Xiao grabbed the creature with his hand, only to see it take the form of a fiery red energy illusion resembling a raccoon. Though it had no life, the power within it was unfathomable. It had reached the level of an 8-star Dou-Xian. These small energy raccoons, no bigger than a few heads, possessed such terrifying power? Crack! After a quick test, Xiao burned it to nothing. Yet, just before the raccoon-shaped illusion disappeared, a faint red light entered Xiao's body, sending a barely perceptible ripple through the soul sea that was sealed. Soul power perception? It seems to have recovered just a little? Could it be that killing the creatures in the Ashfire Realm and absorbing their strange residual energy is the key to unsealing my soul power? Xiao Yin, with his sharp mind, immediately deduced the nature of the event, not missing even the smallest of changes. Whoosh whoosh. As Xiao Yin thought this, he continued hunting other violent energy creatures within the volcanic basin. After several encounters, he finally confirmed his suspicion. Head to the volcano's mouth. Xiao Yin moved steadily toward the volcano's mouth, not far from him. His intuition told him that something was off about this particular area. The volcano's mouth, roughly tens of meters wide, was entirely fiery red. A scorching heat wave made Xiao Yin feel an oppressive pressure on his chest, as the molten lava seemed to accumulate, hiding an enormous and terrifying power beneath. Deeper inside, dark red molten lava surged in the narrow volcanic chamber, creating thunderous explosions that echoed throughout the realm. The scorching marks left by the high temperatures filled the air with an ominous sense of unease. It seems there's a powerful entity in this Ashfire Realm. If I wish to find that precious and extraordinary soul divine source, it certainly won't be easy. But what does the soul divine source have to do with leaving this Ashfire Realm? With these thoughts, Xiao Yin shook his head, remaining vigilant and ready to move at any moment, keeping a close eye on his surroundings. The world of molten lava below the volcano was filled with violent power, yet strangely devoid of any ferocious creatures. The eerie stillness was unsettling. Hehe, Xiao Domain Lord, you're quite fast, aren't you? In the lava zone where Xiao Yin stood, a figure suddenly darted out in an eerie manner, landing right in front of him, blocking his path. The figure looked at Xiao Yin with a contemptuous gaze, as though eyeing prey. Xiao Yin raised his head and saw a young man with a slightly pale complexion, his mouth twisted into a sinister grin. His tall, slender body seemed to emanate a bizarre and disturbing fluctuation, and the distorted smile on his face filled Xiao Yin with an unsettling sense of foreboding. Xiao Yin halted, staring at the young man. For some reason, when his gaze met this person, his eyes twitched, and an uncontrollable sense of unease surged within him. Huh! With a flick of his hand, the evil man unleashed a disturbing deathly aura that quickly enveloped his body. His eerie eyes snapped open, and a terrible black flame, powerful enough to corrode even the void, pulsed from his eyes. In an instant, the flames spread wildly, covering both their bodies and severing any connection with the outside world. Elder, what should we do now? Although Xiao Yin and the evil man's conversation had been shielded by the strange figure, the crystal that tracked Xiao Yan's position suddenly went blank. Several elders from the Alchemy Holy Hall, seeing the lack of feed, exchanged concerned looks and glanced at Yao Wuchen. Despite the established rules of life and death, Xiao Yan's identity as the Lord of the Infinite Flame Territory was not to be underestimated. If anything were to happen here, it could easily anger some powerful figures who secretly protected Xiao Yin. It's fine. Yao Wuchen glanced at the blank crystal, shaking his head lightly. He didn't want to dwell on it too much, but the thought of the evil figures from the ghost realm and demon realm behind this man gave him a headache. After all, these beings were not like the powerful ones from the human realm, and even his 9th-grade alchemist status couldn't resist them. However, the moment this scene unfolded, an intense battle broke out within the Ashfire Realm. Really, a bunch of unyielding souls. The volcanic lava zone was surrounded by swirling black flames, as if it had become a secluded, otherworldly place. Xiao Yin narrowed his eyes and looked at the sinister man across from him, whose smile sent a chill down his spine. It doesn't matter. Soon, the entire upper 3 heavens will belong to our extraterritorial domain. No, I should say, the entire Great Thousand Worlds will be ours. The evil man began to step forward, his black flames creeping outward from his body. His eyes burned with the same malevolent fire, and his smile became even more frenzied and chilling. The black flames surged out of his shriveled body like a tide, spreading rapidly. The eerie coldness in the air caused the turbulent energy of the Ashfire Realm to freeze in place. Such terrifying power. But how did these figures manage to slip past the Alchemy Holy Hall screening and sneak into the Alchemy Conference? Have they found some way to conceal their identities? Xiao Yan's body shimmered with glass-like fire armor, his eyes fixed on the murderous evil man before him as he pondered. Don't worry. This time, I'm here to collect your corpse. Even if you are the Flame Master, you won't escape my claws this time. The evil man sneered, and behind him, a black vortex began to spin rapidly. The black whirlpool was filled with an ominous, deathly aura that Xiao Yan had never felt before. His strength is actually on par with mine? Second-tier reincarnation stage? Seeing the man's actions, Xiao Yan was momentarily shocked. With the sacred flame present, Xiao Yan naturally had an inherent advantage over the extraterritorial evil clan. Even if he encountered a true third-tier reincarnation stage expert, he could still face them without fear. But this mere second-tier reincarnation stage expert seemed, I wonder if I should call you an extraterritorial king-class expert or... A divine flame began to hum and burn in Xiao Yan's chest, indicating he was ready to strike. White king class, nether wind. Die! With a shout, the black vortex surged. Countless black flames spread like an overwhelming tide from the void, crashing toward Xiao Yan. The incredible energy generated a deafening roar, sending shockwaves that disoriented the mind. Heavenly demon formation. Gather! Seeing the terrifying attack from his opponent, Xiao Yan smiled calmly, raising his hand. An incredibly sacred and mysterious rune spun into existence, releasing a thunderous roar. The sound was like the turning of gears, and the formation emerged. Immediately, the countless black flames in the area began to vibrate violently and were quickly devoured by the purification force within the heavenly demon formation. Although the heavenly demon formation that Xiao Yan unleashed had considerable power, the black flames were extremely formidable. Once they touched and tainted the formation, the entire array trembled slightly. You're a Dou formation master? So what if I am the master of sacred flames? Watching his attack being so easily neutralized by Xiao Yan, Bai Wang Ming Feng took a deep breath. His robe, which had been enveloped in black flames, slowly peeled away, revealing a grotesque sight that stunned Xiao Yan. On Bai Wang Ming Feng's body, both his skin and flesh were covered in a strange, eerie blackness. Moreover, dark, soul-seizing evil runes were carved into his blackened form. Upon seeing these runes for the first time, the god-slaying ruler in Xiao Yan's mind stirred once again. The only explanation for the disturbance in the god-slaying ruler was one thing. A powerful evil god from the extraterritorial evil clan. It was clear that the evil runes on Bai Wang Ming Feng's body were the work of an evil god-level expert. A normal White King class would never possess the strength of the reincarnation stage. It turns out this guy has been infused with the power of an evil god class being. Realizing this, Xiao Yan's calm expression shifted to one of seriousness. As far as is known, the strongest in the extraterritorial evil clan are the so-called evil god-level beings. Bai Wang Ming Feng, empowered by evil god-level strength, was not to be underestimated. Roar, roar, roar. With another growl, countless black flames ignited on Bai Wang Ming Feng's body. As the flames scorched him, the evil runes seemed to come alive. The overwhelming sense of oppression and suffocation made Xiao Yan's expression darken. Although this is troublesome, getting rid of you isn't exactly difficult. Watching Bai Wang Ming Feng's movements, Xiao Yan grinned. His mental power, aided by the divine inscriptions within his Naiwen palace, surged. Within the heavenly demon formation, a powerful restraining force that suppressed all evil began to slowly descend. In the entire special dimension, the evil black flames surged, accompanied by a strange figure bathed in dark runes, seemingly summoning some incredibly powerful force. Following this, the heavenly demon formation, like a massive prison of heaven, completely enveloped and confined the entire special dimension. The glow of sacred flames and the evil black flames clashed, gradually fading into the twilight of this dimension.